Let me now turn to some domestic policy and developments. And I emphasize here that, like countries all over the world, we here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we continue to put measures in place to stave off the impact of the global recession and, of course, to reduce our national debt. One of our major initiatives in this regard, as you know, is the value-added tax, the VAT, or VAT as it is affectionately called. The bill has had its first reading. A number of videos and PSAs have been educating the public on the functioning and impact of the VAT, and briefing sessions have taken place throughout the country as well. Brochures have been circulated. Radio talk shows, they have been held in abundance. The important points, once again, are these. Our economy has changed with our shift from sugar to services. And so our taxation system must change accordingly. St. Kitts and Nevis is not embarking into unknown territory with the introduction of the VAT. It is already operational in some 150 other countries. It, as you know, will replace some 12 plus other taxes. The party that I lead and the party that was recently re-elected to protect the interest of the people of this country has a reputation that is unsurpassed where the protection of the ordinary man and woman is concerned. The introduction and the operation of VAT is no less important to us in terms of protecting the small man in this country. We are not about to change that with the introduction of VAT. Small shopkeepers and others with revenues of less than $150,000 will not be required, and I emphasize, will not be required to either collect or report on VAT. The items on which people depend in their everyday lives, items like milk, infant formula, medicines for chronic diseases, and also medical services, and so on, will not be affected by VAT. Neither will bus fares, local produce, etc., be involved in VAT. Our public outreach efforts have already made all of these things very clear. This, you know, in the media, this you in the media, I should say, already know. The important point then is that this government has put in place and will continue to put in place buffers to ensure that VAT will not fall disproportionately on those who can least afford to pay this tax, both in the form of direct transfer payments as well as in other ways. This government, I emphasize, this Labour government will ensure that VAT will not fall disproportionately on those for whom we established Social Security, for whom we have already established free secondary education, for whom we have established all of the other social services that have been essential to our people's upward mobility. This simply would not be in keeping with who and what the Labour Party has stood for throughout our entire history. This is not what we have stood for the last 15 years that the Labour Party has led the government of this country. The price of many goods will fall as a result of VAT, and I want to emphasize that. The price of many goods will fall as a result of the introduction of VAT. The price of some also will rise. Others will stay about the same. My government, however, will also exercise its prerogative to adjust those price changes which we deem not to be in the public good. As a result of the VAT, for example, the price of alcohol and cigarettes left to themselves would fall. We do not think that this would be responsible government policy, however, and we have no intention of making it easier for the public to consume alcohol and cigarettes. We will therefore intervene by applying an excise tax to alcohol and cigarettes in order to push these prices upward. This, we think, is the socially responsible thing to do, and this we shall do. If my government is criticized for ensuring that VAT does not lower the price of alcohol and tobacco, but instead increase it, then we shall accept the criticism from the opposition.